Hello there, my beautiful collective signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. This is a collective zodiac message. So if you've been guided to be here and click this video, then thanks for being here. And there's probably something here for you. So I traditionally pull a Celtic cross spread. It's a little bit modified, I guess, because I pull like a couple extra cards if the energy calls for it, or a couple of cards for your subconscious energy just to see what's going on for you. But it was a very cohesive message today, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. And if you're just interested in tarot, then just watch the first half of this video. If you're interested in oracle cards and other divination cards that I have that I will pull as well, make sure you watch the full video. So the first card I have for you, collective, is the Page of Wands. This is about a new opportunity for some creative passion project that you are feeling, or there's some sort of spark that you have inside of you that's kind of being ignited again. This doesn't have to be specifically creative ventures, but it could just be like you're feeling a bit rejuvenated, and you feel like maybe something's brought you back to life a little bit, and it's kind of creating this, it's lighting this match under you essentially. And I just saw 111 on the clock, so you might be seeing that angel number, so make sure you check that out. Now, what's your challenge when it comes to this? It's kind of like, I feel like this is it almost feels like the calm before the storm, but I don't feel like there's a storm. I feel like you're over that hump, and I feel like you're moving on to greener pastures. It just is like, it's a new feeling, and I feel like there's a lot of anxiety that maybe you have because you feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but there's nothing to drop. It's just what it is, and you're moving out of calm, choppy waters into calmer seas, and that's what the Six of Swords is all about here. Now, the basis, or what's happening to make all of this shift and all of this this cycle end, basically, is because you're seeing things from a different perspective. You're having some sort of enlightenment period where things are dawning on you. You're having these epiphanies. That's what the Hanged Man is all about. It's about seeing things clearly from a different angle, from a different refraction, essentially, and you're getting illuminated and having a lot of revelations, essentially. Now, in your past energy, you have the Justice card. Some of you might be dealing with Libra, with the Wands and the Swords. There's a mix, but there's also Leo and Scorpio, I see, and stuff like that. So you might, if you don't have those in your chart, then it might be just a relevant message, like you're dealing with some of that in your energy. And energy is fluid, so if this isn't resonating for you, it might be the energy of whoever you're dealing with as well. But the Justice card, could be something in regards to legal action in the past and having that work out in your favor, or clearing some sort of karma. And we're in the when is it? I think Saturn retrograde started back in June, and it goes till like mid-November. So there's a lot of karmic clearing that's happening over the last couple months, and that's going to be bringing a lot of justice to your life and your situation. And it depends on if you've set yourself up to have good karma or bad karma, but you also might be dealing with past life karma as well. Sometimes that other life karma floats into our current life, where we go through hardships and trials and tribulations that we don't quite understand what we did to deserve it, but it might be from past lives leaking into this life. And your current energy as well is the Knight of Wands. So this is a fast moving energy and shifting, and this is kind of about putting in the work on something as well, because you have the Eight of Pentacles here, and that's about like putting in the elbow grease and getting something off what's that saying? Getting something off the road? No, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think you know the saying I'm talking about. You're starting a new project and you're trying to get it. I can't even think of that thing right now. Some of you might be having a throat chakra issue, because I'm not even sure what that saying is right off the top of my head. If you think of it, put it in the comments, because I know what I'm thinking. I just can't. It's just not coming to me. But you're trying something off the ground. I think that's a earth sign. You might be dealing with earth signs. Maybe you're an earth sign watching this. You're trying to get something off the ground running, and you're having to put in a lot of work, and it might be a little bit more work than you're used to, or more than you had anticipated. With the Eight of Pentacles, we have 8 there, and then you have another 8. So 8 is significant, or an angel number for you. In the future, Spirit is asking for your strength. This is going to require perseverance. slow and steady wins the race is what I'm hearing right now. And then when it comes to what's in your control in this situation, you had the devil card, which is interesting. But this is, to me, this is tied to your ego and maybe being trapped in your thoughts because of the 9 of Swords here. So it's like what's in your power in the situation is your mindset. And that's what's going to lead you to fulfillment, because it's a mind game and you're battling yourself. And sometimes that seems really difficult, but it's how you're perceiving the situation and how you're perceiving the opportunities. And fear and love cannot coexist at the same time. So when you step into an attitude of gratitude, just even a tiny bit, it will put you on a higher vibrational state and a higher vibrational frequency, and it changes your thoughts and it changes your things tangibly. And this is a scientific fact. There's a study done by Dr. Emoto, I believe. He did like a water study, and a study on how water, when it crystallizes, with the shapes that it forms based on thought and speaking to it. And even though that sounds maybe a little silly or out there, it's been scientifically studied. So when you're speaking nice things, kind things, loving things to water, it's going to create a beautiful crystal. When you're speaking like hateful, fearful things, it is a lower vibrational frequency, and it shows up on a microscopic level, and it affects the water. And water is vital to us, our survival, and we're composed of I forget what percentage of water, but a lot of water. So when we're even thinking or speaking or having negative thoughts, it's impacting our physical body, and that in turn impacts our energetic body, and so on. So it's like the microcosm of the macrocosmic system. And that's just really important for you at this time, not to get trapped in the mire of your thoughts and lose yourself in the pessimistic cycle, because it can be a cycle. Now, how people see you, they see you as making plans, but they might see you as like living a little bit too much in the past, or living in this like regret mode. So again, I do feel like that's tied to this 9 of Swords. Just be cautious of like not overthinking too much of like what went wrong in the past. Now, history is a lesson, and it does typically repeat itself. So I'm not saying don't glance in the rear view mirror, but I'm saying you can't stare in the rear view. Okay. So when you stare in the rear view, you lose track of the trajectory where you're headed. And imagine life like the lessons that you're learning and the shadows that you're healing and the trauma that you've been through, glancing at it instead of living in it in that moment. So it's like you're seeing things almost from an unbiased perspective or an elevated perspective, where you can kind of remove yourself from the emotion of the trauma of the situation and see things clearly for what they were. And that's part of radical acceptance when it comes to trauma healing and things like that. So I do feel like people are seeing the work you're doing, but they might also maybe think that you're being a little bit escapist or a little bit trapped in the past. And, it doesn't really so much matter what people think or how they perceive you. It matters how you feel about yourself and what you're doing. But sometimes it's nice to get that confirmation or validation of like, they see that you're moving forward and they see that you are on a different path, a different trajectory. And that can just sometimes motivate you as a person doing healing work or shadow work or trying to understand yourself, to know that people do see you in a certain light. And sometimes we just need a little bit of that validation. So if that's what you're here for, there you go. Now, the next card I have for you, it represents your hopes and your fears. With the King of Swords, this is a swift moving card of like active decisions and choices. And again, I do feel like people are seeing that you're making pretty quick choices or decisions, and it's meticulous and it's calculated. It might be a bit cold or harsh to some if they're used to you being a certain way, but I do feel like you're hoping and maybe a little bit fearful about what's to come for you. But I do think, since you're putting in this work and Spirit is really asking for your perseverance at this time, that there's a lot of positivity that's going to come from this, because in your outcome card here you have the World. This is all about closure. This is about balance and harmony. It's about ending of cycles and moving forward. The World is like the last major arcana card in the tarot deck, so it's like the closure of this chapter in order to move into something new. And it's not exactly like finite, like things when they close out, they don't always close and it's like completely done. It's kind of like a spiral, and there's a little bits of endings that will happen gradually over time. Especially with astrology, you have to check out the planets and where those align and things like that. Or, if you've not exactly cleared out all of your karma in this lifetime, you might be clearing that out in the future at some point. Now, in your subconscious collective, you have the Sun card. This is a great card to have. This means like you're hopeful, you're optimistic, you're, full of joy. Like on a subconscious level, it's like a loving space, a heart space. You still have pure intentions, and you just have motivation. Even at times when it's really hard, it's like you can find the silver lining, and you're choosing to do that. And that's not an easy feat. So make sure you're feeling very proud of yourself. All right. Now that's what I had for tarot. I'm going to pull a bunch of oracle cards for you and see what other messages Spirit or your guides have. If that's all you wanted to hear today, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please smash that like button because it helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And just remember, energy is fluid. So if this message doesn't resonate for you exactly, it could just be resonating for someone else who's in your energy. And there's definitely some soulmate in your energy because I have the soulmate card. And it doesn't have to be love romantically. It could just be a friendship or a karmic soulmate that you had an ending with. And, that is definitely divinely guided. So, all right. The next card I have is for my Moon Oracle deck. It says, I am at peace with my past. Again, this is all about getting out of this like 5 of Cups energy in this regret, remorse. It's making sure you're aware that there's still 2 more cups here. So there's still opportunities for love and happiness and joy. And you can still make lemonade out of the lemons that life gives you. You just have to be able to transmute that pain and channel it and funnel it into something positive, which I think is your work at this time, whatever this Knight of Wands, Page of Wands energy is. Now, you also have the Tree of Life. I love this card. This is a great card to have. It says you're deeply connected to the world around you and dependent on it for your ability to grow and to thrive. Now, when I meditate on your energy, I listen to music, and I was listening to Bad Dreams by Teddy Swims. So that might be a significant message for some of you. If you've been having dreams, I feel like you should write those down, because a lot of the times we get almost like these like subliminal subconscious messages where our dreams are trying to tell us something. So it could be something tied to your chakras, could be something tied to this soulmate, and maybe kind of a little bit of an explanation as to why you had to go through this cycle. So you might be getting a lot of clarity when it comes to that. Now, you have 2 of the most happiest cards in my decks. You had the Sun card and you had the Joy card. So these are great, great cards for you. This is all about your solar plexus, which is kind of where I like to think your empathy and your narcissism are housed, but it's also where like your sense of self and well-being are housed as well. So it's like you have very pure intentions and you're very loving, kind, empathetic person, and it's going to exude and radiate from you, and it's going to bring a lot of joy and peace and happiness. Let's see. You also have the Pilgrim. This is interesting. I think of this card as like the pilgrimage card. It's like, are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to do the hard work and persevere and, go slow and steady and be the first of your generation or the first of your ancestors to really do this healing, to really pursue your passions and your dreams? Because if you are, you're going to set a precedent for so many people. It's going to be life-changing, life-shifting, not only for you, but all of those that surround you. And it is monumental. It is just, you are such a rare breed if you're this pilgrim, because a lot of people get lost in being afraid of failure or being afraid of anything really. It's the devil energy, the fear that drives them, and they never move out of this like, oh no, what if I do it? Like I can't. but you can if you want to, and you can if you try. And I do feel like you're really, really trying to move forward. But Spirit is asking, what do you need to release? And that's tied to the waning moon. So check out the lunar calendar, because the waning moon might be a significant time period for you to let go of something that's not serving you. And I do feel like it's this mindset of I can't. It's moving out of that into I can. And you're going to do that through prioritizing. So priorities came out here. It says you understand the paramount importance of manifesting love in all situations. And I do feel like you are fully able and emotionally intelligent enough to find a silver lining in every situation, because the universe sends us lessons. But if you're wise, you can find the lesson and the blessing in a situation. And sometimes it's very hard to do when the situations are very challenging and tough. But, you know, if you have enough foresight or hindsight, you can very clearly see the intention and the purpose in the trials and tribulations that we go through. Now, the next card is from my Third Eye Intuition deck. It says, act, don't get stuck on the shoulds and coulds. See how you can do what you want, and use your intuition and a hearty dose of common sense to guide you. Follow that hunch that keeps niggling you. Again, I feel like this is that don't stay stuck in the I can't analysis paralysis mode. It's getting out of that and moving into the I can, and how am I going to do this? That's kind of been my mantra my whole life of how am I going to do this? And I always seem to be resourceful and have a lot of grit and find a way. Even when people throw roadblocks in front of me, I still sometimes, being a Sagittarius, we're very good at pivoting. So I have usually pivoted my whole life out of a situation into something else, but that's not always a great attribute if the situation doesn't call for, it can't call for that at the time. So use discernment there. Some of you might feel like you're treading water, or just like barely keeping your head afloat, because I have number 10, which is treading. It says, treading the tiger's tail is perilous, so invite the creature's power into your life as protection, fertility, and blessing. Living in harmony with the tiger takes skill and care. Look into the intensity you are drawn to in the situation you are asking about. Is there danger there? And also its potential gift. Where is the tiger? And do you know how to work with such power? Wow. Okay, that's definitely tied to the strength card here. I know it's a lion, but sometimes you also have to be the lion, and sometimes you have to be the lamb, and it's using discernment to know which is needed at what point in time, and that ties to your priorities here as well. So know who it is you're battling, but I feel like at this time it's like your mind you're battling. It's a mind game that we're in. It's literally like the movie The Matrix, because we're battling ourselves and our perception and things that come our way that are challenging. But it's really about how you view life and how you want to interpret the things that happen to you and how you heal from the trauma. And that's why I'm here doing these tarot videos, because I'm all about like trauma healing, trauma coaching, trying to get you out of old mindsets and patterns that have been indoctrinated in you, that you were raised in, that you don't even consciously realize. And that's kind of why I do what I do and do tarot. So I hope this video helped you. If it did, please again smash that like button. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, please feel free to reach out. If you'd like a personalized tarot reading, I can do that as well. I will see you next time.